Hi, I'm Robert Gibson.
I'm Ricky Morton.
We're the Rock and Roll Express.
And you're watching WGS TV.
Alright, welcome to WGS-TV, everyone. I'm MVP, known as well. I'll be taking over this review for Billy. He had to take care of some personal reasons for at the moment, but I'm going to be doing this one again. But before we begin, let's introduce the panel. First, he's from HWR Radio. He's known as Rick the Shining Star. So, Rick, what's up?
What's up? Let's do this again.
And of course, he is the video game rancher known as Ashley, who hates the Xbox. Ashley, what is good?
No, I have an appreciation for the Xbox now. I have a sheer hatred for Dom Matrick.
Whatever that.
I've had that epiphany. The reason Xbox sucked at E3 wasn't because of Xbox. It was because of Dom Matrick. Clearly thinking he's the evil emperor from Star Wars.
Well,
it will have DRM, Jedi.
Alright, as soon as you get back on track here, he's on youtube.com/LanceMossTV. Here he is as Lance. Lance, what is up?
Ding, round two.
Boxing match, anyone? Not likely. And finally, he's the Instagive brother of mine on Instagive.tv. He is the guy that's known as getting off the bus when not attacked by a guy for cheeseburgers. It's James. Welcome to the program. Very well said.
Oh, by the way, this week's review is brought to you by Bellator MMA because that's apparently what Impact was brought to you by.
Yeah.
That was so timed. But anyway, let's get on track here. Opening program, we got Taz is shown trying to get into the building, but security said hell no. Just hell to the end. Oh, Rick, tell us about this segment with Taz throwing a fit.
Pretty much that was it. Yeah, Taz, he was trying to get in, and security said, he wouldn't let him in because, per order of Hulk Hogan, he says, what the hell is this? He goes, all right, well, I'm going to go make a call to somebody, and all pissed off and left. That was it.
He wasn't allowed in because they checked his ID and it said Deborah McMichael. That's the real truth there, yeah. There's your conspiracy for you, ladies and gentlemen. Taz is actually Deborah.
He did not meet the height requirements for entry.
I thought his ID said Booker T.
All right.
I'm not going there. You know the clip to find on YouTube, people.
Of course, we know about that. We'll look at that at another time. But another segment we'd like to bring up is Austin Aries talking to Chris Sabin. Ash, why don't you go ahead and tell the people about this little lifetime story with Aries and Sabin?
Well, clearly Sabin and Aries have something in common because they both cashed in the X Division title to have a shot at the TNA World title and both won. And basically congratulated him for it, but kind of also used it to basically say, don't get your hopes up because by Bound for Glory, I lost the belt. So perhaps this Bound for Glory, the same thing will happen. It will be me that benefits because I'll be winning the Bound for Glory series. Cue Bobby Roode coming out and basically saying, no, I think it's going to be me because, to be quite honest, you've been a thorn in my side ever since last year's Destination X when you beat me for the title, and I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. And Aries said, well, okay, if you think that's the case, I hope you do go through, and then when I beat you, let's get ready to suck it or something. Perhaps you'll do that thing in Christy Hemi's face. I don't know.
Very well said. All right, now we're going to get into the first Bound for Glory series match with Roode and Super Mex himself, Hernandez. Well, Ash, since you were continuing about Roode, since he opened off the first match, why don't you go ahead and drop a few lines on the match with these two?
Yeah, it was a very good opening match, I would say, compared to other matches on the card. But it was also a strong match because it's two guys that know what they're doing and have been around in TNA for quite a while. and put on a good spectacle and everything. And it seemed like Roode was not going to be able to get it done because after a low blow, Hernandez still managed to kick out. So then, throwing some steel chairs to cause the distraction, managed to find a beer bottle underneath, a la the old school days of Beer Money and his early run with the TNA World Title. And the beer bottle shot using, hopefully it was sugar glass. It wasn't. Knowing Hernandez, it could have been real because he's that tough. Probably because of that diet that he's on or something. But that bottle shot was enough for the pinfall, and yeah, Roode has 7 points finally.
All right, how would you rate the match?
I give it a 3.5 out of 5. You know, it wasn't spectacularly. It wasn't spectacularly. It wasn't an amazing spectacle like it could have been, but it was still a strong opening.
Okay, 3 out of 5. That's good, Ash. All right, next we have a little backstage segment with ODB talking to her husband, Eric Young. Lance, why don't you go ahead and drop a few lines about this Lifetime soap opera?
Well, more like Comedy Central soap opera, but okay. Basically, it's just ODB saying she's back. She's glad she's back and ready to be out of them stripes. And then, well, long story short, then Eric Young starts coaching. Well, basically, Eric Young opens the door to a locker room. We see, for some reason, they felt the need to show us Joseph Park's backside. And then he starts coaching him up for his match and says he has something special for him, and then brings out this like makeup carrying case looking thing, bag thingamajigger, and this is what's going to help you win. And in the segment, basically.
All right, well, they say Lifetime soap operas should stay out of wrestling. Next, we have.
I don't know. I think you see, if Eric Young's gonna be the coach, I really hope that, he just plays it like what's his name from Rocky. The next time we just see him, he's got like a beanie on and he's going, "You gotta crap like thunder."
Mitt.
Yeah, his coach's name was Mickey, by the way.
Mickey. I couldn't remember. All I remembered is that he was the Penguin from Batman.
All right, next we have the segment of Chris Sabin talking to Manik backstage. I think I'll take this one. Yeah, I mean Sabin. It's about time he got the world title. He's talking to Manik, talking about, he always wanted to fight T.J. Perkins and everything. He tells him, I respect for the fact he came to the company. You won the X Division belt, despite the fact that you went through a long history in other wrestling organizations, but Sabin did state that he wanted to fight him, a champion versus champion match. Then Perkins goes off, says he's been in the business for 15 years. He just wants to prove that he wants to be the best in the company, or one of the best in the company. I'll give this little segment a stellar 3 because I think both competitors can do well in the ring. We'll have more about that one as it comes. So next we have another Bound for Glory series match with Jay the Boomstick Bradley, aka Billy's favorite wrestler, versus the LA Law lawyer.
Hey! Now you need to go off on him because you know what? He's gonna be the next John Cena.
Well, okay, Rick.
Match of the year.
All right,
match of the year.
All right,
match of the year.
Since you're so in tune about this BFG match, why don't you go ahead and tell us about Bradley and Park?
Oh man, this guy, I'm telling you. For those of you who really see, Jay Bradley, this guy, I saw him coming. I'm like, wow, he's a #1 star. Yeah, right. But
Rick, how strong is that stuff you smoking?
Yeah. Oh shit. There's the glue I was smoking.
They managed to find him in Walmart next to the tire jacks.
No, I got that. Actually, I got it from Reverend Jake. For those of you who don't know the joke, well,
Be careful.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get on to the match at hand. This match was really truly sad. It was probably the stinker of the night. It was just neither man. The thing that sucks is the character is Joseph Parks as the character sucks. Even the wrestler just has no skill. But when he's Abyss, it's literally night and day. But Joseph Parks, they need to get rid of this character, and they're killing it. And the only time he does good is when he's, beating the hell out of this Jay Bradley guy who doesn't even belong in a ring. I'm sorry. When Jay Bradley can go down from a fireman's carry and win, and he's 0, and Joseph Parks gets a -3, something wrong there. My score of the match, I have to give it a 1.5.
I guess generosity is just bad in your case, right, Rick?
That is generosity.
Yeah, but I to be honest, I think it deserves a 2, Rick, because it was wrestling and it wasn't MMA.
Fair point. Okay, we'll give it a 2.
All right. See, if you can influence people, you'll get your scores. Next, we got the sit down with Sting in the main event Mafia that is going to do whatever it takes to take out the Aces and Eights. Ashley, we'll kick it up to you. What did you think about the segment?
Basically, they've got an offer that they can't refuse. Cue cotton wool in the mouth for Marlon Brando.
I'm making me up, you can't refuse.
I think that was ping pong balls, Lance. But anyway, and then like Rampage is like, yeah, I'm focused more than ever. Who cares about my fight with Tito Ortiz coming only on pay-per-view or whatever the hell it is? She kind of is a signpost. People follow the yellow brick road. Except the yellow bricks aren't made out of gold. They're made out of Crayola. Kids are licking them for no reason because they're just addicted.
Whoa.
Damn.
Sniff glue, kids.
No,
Warning,
don't sniff.
do not sniff glue.
Yeah, it may get you to a whole new high. But anyway, moving on, we have one of the best matches.
That segment was brought to you by RVD.
Yeah. Just smoke weed.
All right, as we can get down to the nitty-gritty of this next match with Manik, a.k.a. TJ Perkins versus Chris Sabin, the champion versus championship match. James, drop your lines on this.
All right, this was actually a good quality match. One of the good matches of the night, and really, back and forth match. But we obviously knew who was going to win the match, because who has a match at Hardcore Justice in 2 weeks? The world champ.
Both of them.
Really?
Yeah, because the X Division title will probably be on the line in a triple threat. Because every match has to be a triple threat.
But it's not announced as a match yet, officially.
Oh, it will be. Quick, where are the spoilers? I need to go into the spoilers.
Hey, there's no spoilers. Anyway, but yeah, the main person won, Chris Sabin. It was actually a good match. He won with the cradle shot, and then after the match, Bullet Ray came out, just beating Chris Sabin up, and then Manik comes in for the save. And then Chris Sabin attacks Bullet Ray too. Bullet Ray runs like a scolded dog. Wait, wrong company.
Is it ironic that Manik says, now that I've got a mask, I've become relevant now? So basically, he's the opposite of a bit.
Hey, good theory on that one, Ash. That's very, very good. All right.
See, I'm deep when I need to be, people.
Exactly. James.
Inception, bitches.
What's ready for the match?
My score is 3 out of 5.
All right. Next, we have Taz throwing a fit. Lance, go ahead and tell. What did you see with Taz throwing another fit outside?
Basically, Taz has been his whole asshole-ish, cocky character. Say, hey, since they're gonna not let me in, I'm gonna ruin their show. I'm gonna show them who this whole August 1st guy is. He goes to the white limo, opens the door. It's the Raw general manager must have paid a visit to.
Lance, you're not supposed to say that.
What, manager, general, raw? Which word?
Yeah. Copyright infringement. TNA's
I
getting
don't give a
sued.
damn.
TNA's getting sued. Do you think they've got enough money to afford it? No.
They don't even have enough money to pay half their staff. What are you talking about?
They don't have enough money to pay
What are
Hogan.
you talking about, Willis?
Oh man.
Oh, wait, your name isn't Willis. Right.
All right. Well, we don't have to rate that one, Lance, because it's just Taz having a fit, so you don't have to worry about that one.
Exactly.
Rick?
Perhaps he was having a fit because that's the computer that has all his porn.
Damn. Damn. Oh, we'll never live that one.
That's how he lets the pigeons loose, ladies and gentlemen.
Pigeons are loose. Rick, we're kicking it up to you for the Gail Kim ODB match. Drop your lines. Tell us how you feel about this match.
Actually liked this match. This was a really great match, despite what certain trolls said on my Hardcore Wrestling Radio page. Plug. But
Right here in where it was Texas. Bang bang.
Truth or consequence? New Mexico.
actually, it's in Boston, Massachusetts. Bang bang. But it was great. It was both ODB. She's a true brawler, and Gail Kim, she can really get down and gritty. She can, she's just as tough when she wants to be. But the fight spilled right to the outside, and even though the ref did a count out, they still just started beating the absolutely hell out of each other, and the refs, of course, had to pull each other apart. And I'm gonna have to give this match a solid 3, even though it really didn't go anywhere. We know that we're gonna see a possibly some kind of a hardcore match at Hardcore Justice.
There you go. All right. Next, we see Bully Ray talking to his brethren of the Aces and Eights. Wompity womp womp. Ash, go ahead and tell us about this little wompity segment with Bully and his brothers.
Basically, he was making some line about how they're ripping off The Godfather, and then, hey, why is it that every place that we're in, there's no goddamn light bulbs? Well, no, he didn't say that, but but then Brooke suddenly appears out of nowhere. Mrs. Bully Ray, kayfabe. Unless they did want to do it in real life, just to try and keep it trending, and then all of a sudden Bully Ray actually becomes Triple H somehow.
No, then he goes to jail for polygamy.
Oh, true. But basically says that the contract that they offered, they can't agree with. There's just a couple of things that needs to be adjusted. I don't. Were those announced? I'm not sure. Or did they leave it as a tentacle? Because probably to tune in next week to find out what that is. It's probably that, okay, the cage will not be painted pink. And Bully Ray's like, oh.
Well, there you go. Segments of a segment. And now we have the other.
Applaud me. I'm making these segments more interesting than they were.
Well, I don't have my game show music, or else I would applaud you. But all right, next
Was
we
that a golf clap?
Pretty
Oh,
much.
God.
golf clap. Okay. Well, you owe me for the next applause. Next one we have AJ Styles and Austin Aries. Go ahead, James. What do you think about this match? Kick it to you.
This was a great match towards the end. Back and forth, a couple of good spots on the outside. I just did not like the ending. Like, both physical, beat each other up. AJ Styles hit the Pele, both hit the mat. Both arms on each other for the cover. 1, 2, 3. But Austin Aries' shoulders got up, so Austin Aries got the 7 points. I just did not like that ending. It was bad. You even saw that, Austin Aries even helped AJ Styles' hand to go over his chest. I'm like, it was, as I say, it was a great quality match. Just didn't like the ending. Because of the ending, I will have to drop this to a 2.5 out of 5.
So you're saying the referee screwed this one up, basically, James?
No, it's just TNA booking. messed this up.
Yeah, but the referees. I mean, the referee has to do their part too.
No, but
No, that's how they probably booked the finish.
yeah, that's how they booked the
This is
finish.
TNA we're talking about.
Brother.
How?
Hey, you know what I'm surprised about? There was
The
no
Dragon Gate USA show that happened last week, 3 of
No.
the finishes from the Sunday show all came from low blows.
Wow, really?
Wow. Just
Well,
wow.
they started from low blows.
Oh,
They weren't low blows direct, but low blows were the significant hit, shall we say, to the end of the match.
you know what? I'm surprised there was no Hogan this week. I just realized.
Exactly. We'll breathe a lot longer.
You've only just realised that. I think they realised it because they spent the budget on other talents that showed up in the last 5 minutes.
No, it's because Hogan didn't get paid. He's like, what? I'm not getting paid? Shit, I'm not showing up.
Later, brother.
Rudder.
All right.
Hogan did a
But this
Taz. That means Hogan will ban himself from the building in 2 weeks.
You ain't lying.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna say the brother count today is 0.
Oh, gasp.
Well, no, you did see Devon and Bully Ray together. So there was one brother.
All right. And finally, we have the segment to end Impact, where the main event Mafia go to the ring to give Aces and Eights that offer they cannot refuse. So, Lance, we're kicking it to you. Tell us your thoughts about the segment that ended Impact.
Well, to quote, yeah, basically, okay, main event Mafia comes out, makes, then they say they're about to make the offer. Then Aces and Eights comes out. Says, oh, we're not backing down from a fight. Then I think it was Sting that said, Sting or Angle said that basically it's going to be a 5-on-5 match, 5 members of Aces and Eights versus all 5 members of
It's Angle. Angle was the one who.
It was Angle that said it.
Thank you, James. Thank you. And it says 5 members of the Mafia, and whichever wrestler gets pinned is gone. Then the shit
go
sandwich
ahead.
of the night. Or does somebody else need to cover this one?
All right, Rick, go ahead. When the lights went out, who was behind August 1st, Rick?
Tito Ortiz. Sorry, I always get the
I
two
would
mixed
have
up.
liked it if Santana would have came out on. No, wait a minute. This is wrong. I'm thinking Carlos. My bad.
For a minute, I
We
thought
got
it was the
Tito-
elect.
Wait, hold on. We got Tito Ortiz.
For a minute, I thought it was the electrician, or it was that guy that ran in the ring and attacked Randy Orton.
Okay, yo, we'll do that down in South Africa.
All right. Lastly, guys, I want to get your individual opinions about this. Do you think Tito Ortiz is going to have any positive inflict to Impact Wrestling? Rick, what do you think? Is Ortiz going to help TNA at the state it's at right now? Rick?
Do I think it's going to help TNA?
Yeah.
No. I don't think it's going to really help the status of where it is at. I mean, if anything, I mean, it might help the publicity a little bit, but not significantly. If anything, it's just he's just jumping on the train with getting a paycheck. So
Right, Rick?
Because-
nice, honestly thought. Go ahead and finish, Rick. Go ahead.
well, it just he's not a wrestler. I mean, it's great for publicity, but it's just I mean, I just see him and Rampage Jackson getting in a fight, and they're not real wrestlers. They're MMA fighters, and WWE tried to do this one time before, and it really didn't work. So
There you go. All right, Ash, your thoughts on Tito Ortiz. Go ahead.
Is it me, or has the entire week of August 1 warning actually sort of used all this time of TNA and their resources and everything to hype up a Bellator fight. And the fact that it's really got nothing to do with TNA other than the fact that there's two guys that are in TNA now that are just by chance, who knew, thanks to this partnership going on between TNA or Impact and Bellator, and it resulting in this. It's like, oh wow! And also, did you notice that Keep Wrestling in the 2020 Olympics video had Spike's logo, had the USA Wrestling Team logo, had Bellator's logo on it? No Impact Wrestling logo.
Very observant.
Probably
Hatch.
because they can't afford it.
You ain't
Because
lying there.
they've just spent $2 million on Tito and Rampage. You know, the guy who couldn't satisfy Gemma Jameson versus the guy who was inferior to Mr. T.
A pity
And because of that, they axe Matt Morgan and they axe Christian York and they axe Tara and they axe Madison Rain because she's pregnant and they don't want to feed her anymore.
Don't forget they axe Crimson and Joy Ryan as well, but we'll save that for another segment.
Well, the internet's mixed on Joey Ryan and Crimson, you know, who, you know. Oh, remember, Crimson came in as the new Goldberg. Hello,
Or as
Ryback.
the Amazing Red's brother.
Well, no, he eventually became Goldberg-esque, and then, you know, hi, Ryback.
All right, James, your thoughts on Tito the Junkman Ortiz?
Didn't Tito Ortiz deal with TNA a couple times in the past?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was amazing, because it was shit.
And what was the main thing he was there for? Special guest referee. I would not be surprised if TNA put him as special guest referee for the 5-on-5 tag team match.
And then he smoked some weed.
It
actually
gives us his extracurricular thoughts in his head. And finally, Lance, your thoughts on Tito Ortiz?
Do I think he's on? Do I think he's going to help TNA? Hell no. I can actually see them creating the worst triple threat or 3-on-3
5-on-5.
No. This has nothing to do with the 5-on-5. I see them making the worst triple threat match in the history of wrestling. Rampage Jackson versus Tito Ortiz versus King Mo in the worst triple threat match in history.
Hey, perhaps just for the heck of it, we can throw Dan the B7 in there and Pac-Man Jones and Ken Shamrock.
Hey, you're messing with two of my guys I actually respect. I respect the Beast and Ken Shamrock, so don't go there.
All right.
We'll have it refereed by Ronda Rousey.
Well, I agree with everybody here.
No, sorry, Brock Lesnar. What am I thinking? Yeah. I forgot he had an MMA career.
Oh, Lord.
Maybe because it lasted about 4 seconds.
Yeah, I agree with everybody here. The reason I brought up everybody's individual thoughts for Tito Ortiz, because if Andy were here, he probably would have said it's pure shit. And Tito Ortiz should have never came back. He ain't gonna benefit the company for no type of reason. That's why I wanted your individual thoughts. And now we're going to introduce the thing that Billy introduced a couple weeks back is the best and worst. Rick, pick your worst and best segments or match of the show.
Well, I have to say, definitely without a doubt, the worst match of the night was definitely it was the Joseph Parks and that schmuck that he was in with. Jay Bradley. Thank you. Jay Bradley was just terrible. So I can't even. That was the stinker of the match. Best match of the night has to go to the main event. Austin Aries and AJ Styles. The ending was a little bit questionable. I thought it was kind of like weird the way it happened, but you know, other than that, I have to give it hands down. It was an excellent match.
All right, Ash, go ahead. Your best and worst for the show.
Worst match was undoubtedly Bradley versus Park. Best match. AJ was actually right. The match between him and Aries was going to be not much of an impressive thing. I'd actually give it to the opening match, Hernandez versus Roode. It was more of a spectacle and more of an interesting fight to me than the other one turned out to be. But I think if you're looking for, champion and jobber of the night, the jobber was probably Taz, for basically being sent up by whatever they're called, Crockett and Tubbs, Tango and Cash, whoever the security blokes are that you see every single time.
All right.
And the champion of the night was Irony, because Impact Wrestling was followed by the movie known as Doom.
Starring.
Somehow I think Spike TV has become Nostradamus here, people.
And for those of you,
Ironically as well, it features Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who's successful, unlike TNA. And don't get me wrong, I'm a TNA fan, but some of the things that they've been doing over the past few months is now making me question my authority. By the way, you want to watch the pay-per-view tomorrow?
Oh my goodness. James, your best and worst match or segment of the show.
The champion of the night has to be the AJ Styles Austin Aries match. Besides the ending, I really enjoyed the match. I just didn't like the ending, and really that kind of, as I said, the match itself was excellent. It was great. The jobber of the night has to be the Joseph Park match and segment. I am sorry. I just don't like the character. And I just don't get why they put Eric Young as his trainer for some odd reason. I'm sorry. That's all I gotta say.
Well, James, we don't blame you. And finally, last but not least, Lance, your best and worst for the show.
Well, my champions of the night have to be Gail Kim and ODB, and then AJ and Aries. My jobbers, I gotta see the rest of the damn show. I wasn't that into. I just gotta say the rest of the damn show were the jobbers to me. It just wasn't that good to me.
The job was Hulk Hogan, because he was so ashamed of this week's Park, he wasn't even there.
Oh man. Well, for me, the best, I'm agree with everybody here. It was AJ and Aries, worst one. We're in agreement again. The Bradley Parks match was just a clusterfuck in this one. Best segment would have to be the main event Mafia Aces and Eights segment, and the jobber thing. I'm sorry, Tito Ortiz, you wasted TNA's time with all this August 1st warning shit. I'm sorry. You could have brought somebody else and it would have been enjoyable. But Ortiz, really TNA, really Spike, you could have did better. I'm sorry, but
Maybe try somebody who didn't get their ass whipped in the last 3 fights.
that's why I said earlier that Tito is really junk man because he can't fight for shit.
I think they could have done better. I mean, with hardcore, they have hardcore justice coming up. They should have at least done with somebody maybe Just Incredible. I'm like, that's what I thought it was. I'm like,
I thought it was Sabu.
I thought it was like someone that's gonna be at least relevant that would try to make it better, but none.
I thought it was Brooklyn Brawler.
It could have been Mick
But-
Foley with his head shaved.
Yeah, I mean,
No, WWE pretty much has his ass under a lifetime contract after he accepted the ring.
yeah, you ain't lying there. Then.
It
Well,
could
that's
have been the ship. It could have been the ship Titanic that had just gone under a major overhaul.
there's Ash being Ash. Well, that's gonna wrap things up here. If you guys got any last words to talk about the program, say it now. Because I ain't got nothing to say. Because Ortiz killed the show.
If you want a good Impact show, wait till the TNA 10 reunion pay-per-view. / don't do it, watch it on pay-per-view. Make them suffer for all that money that they wasted on... I mean, $600,000 for tapings? Seriously.
Damn.
Christ.
You ain't
I mean,
lying
you know,
there, Ash. You ain't lying.
You should have called in, United Airlines or something and got a sponsorship deal for it, you idiot. Seriously, I really want to know how much energy that panda's using.
We want to know what's inside the drink, to be honest, but we'll never know.
What's inside the Kool-Aid?
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's gonna wrap up here.
All I gotta
James.
say that since there was no reaction of Tito Ortiz coming out to be the August 1 warning, here's the reaction they should have got.
Well, there you go.
Would it?
Lance, you have any
Would it have
last?
been,
You have any
would it have
last
been
words?
ironic if they just said, "Go back to UFC"?
I know, right? Lance, you have any last words?
One word to describe this whole show, pretty much. Shit.
Oh, if only Andy were here. Well, that's going to wrap it up here for WGS TV's review for Impact. Rick, where can they find you at if they want to hit you up?
Of course, they can always find me over at my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And of course, anytime you want to listen to our shows, head on over to Spreaker.com/HWR Media and be sure to hit that follow button. And always, you can head over to YouTube.com/HWR Show.
Lance, where can they find you at YouTube?
YouTube.com/Lance Moss TV.
What do you do over there on YouTube?
I do wrestling reviews, album reviews, NASCAR reviews, and whatever the hell else pops into my head.
Well said. What about you, Ash? Where can people hit you up at?
You can hit me up in the hit film, The Conjuring, out now in theaters. I'm the kid in the weird hat that appears in the mirror when you look in it, and apparently I'm called Leroy.
Weren't you also in
So
The Hobbit?
apparently I featured in a viral video where I randomly shouted my name, Leroy Jenkins, and ran into a dungeon.
And finally, James, where can they find you at?
Same place they find you at. Instagive.tv. It's gonna be either when MVP is live, that's Instagive.tv/Bay Area MVP, or myself, Instagive.tv/Fatboy504.
That's right. Well, with that said, for Rick, Ashley, Lance, and James, this is Will filling in for Billy, and hope Billy's feeling better. Prayers to his family, everything. So, with that said, this is Will representing WGS-TV and HWR saying see you when we see you. And this segment is brought to you today by August 1st warning waste of time. And why the fuck did Ortiz had to come back to TNA? See you when we see you.
Isn't it ironic
All right, Rick, we're done.
that we had the trending topic of hashtag 7 years of CM Punk way higher than TNA for most of the night? And then it nearly got trumped by hashtag Project Runway.
I just don't get the concept
Somehow
of why he
I
came
need
back.
WWE Armageddon music. The end is here.
This is the
Stone Cold. Stone Cold. Stone Cold. Stone Cold. Spiritual speaking. Stone Cold. Stone Cold. I'm Haley Ring Rose. Stone Cold.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spirit Transmedia. Stoke answers.